Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Tuesday, July 31st, 2012, the last day of July. The power crisis in India has worsened. It's hard to believe. Yesterday, 300 million plus people were without power. Today, 620 million or more without power. It's a size of, it's actually 1/10 of the world's population is currently without electricity there. 3 of the regional grids in India have collapsed. Hundreds of trains stalled across the country. Traffic lights went out. Electric crematoriums stopped operating, some with bodies half burnt. Emergency workers rushed generators to coal mines where miners had been trapped because electric elevators failed. According to the Indian Power Authority, the new crisis is because several Indian states take more than their allotted energy requirements out of the grid. According to the power minister, everyone overdraws from the grid. Just this morning, I held a meeting with power officials from the states, and I gave directions that states that overdraw should be punished. We've given instructions that their power supply should be cut. 20 of 28 states in India are now experiencing power failure. It's a huge blackout. It's stretching 1,870 miles from the northeast with Pakistan to the border with Myanmar on the other side of the country. It's an amazing situation, actually. British Petroleum continues to see fallout from the 2010 Macondo oil spill. They just announced taking a pre-tax charge of $847 million during the second quarter for 2012 to cover new additional costs. You may remember that BP had a strategy of not purchasing reinsurance from the commercial market. That means that BP has to pay the entire bill. The total cumulative charge to date that BP has taken for the spill is $38 billion. Union Bank of Switzerland, UBS, said this morning that it's going to start legal proceedings against NASDAQ after the Swiss bank's second quarter results were hit by a big loss from the Facebook IPO. UBS said that it lost $357 million following Facebook's IPO, and this in a quarter where earnings were already pressured because of struggling investments. According to UBS, as a market maker in the big Facebook IPO, we received significant orders from clients. We'll take appropriate legal action against NASDAQ to address its gross mishandling of the offering and its substantial subsequent failures to perform its duties. Apparently, UBS was unable to place trades. Maybe many of those clients are thanking them today for not having placed those trades. Canopius Group down in Bermuda is going to exit its reinsurance operations. This after New York's based Tower Group revealed that it exercised its option to merge with that platform. You may recall that back when the Omega Canopius deal went through in April, Tower agreed to invest about $75 million to buy an 11% stake in Canopius, but they purchased an option to merge the reinsurance group in with their own operations. Canopius, of course, is going to have a reinsurance platform in Omega. There's a big IT project underway in Lloyd's. It's called Project Darwin. The idea behind it is that Lloyd's is going to develop a couple of common platforms that are going to handle claims, accounting, other booking procedures. It's sort of a brainchild of the Boston Consulting Group. Thus far, it's been steered largely by underwriters, and the brokers have now become upset because the brokers actually handle much of the money flow after the booking of the contract. They've written a letter to Lloyd's CEO Richard Ward, making sure that they get input in the future. Partner Re, based in Zurich but operating around the world, last night reported better than expected earnings with a second quarter profit of about $176 million. Net income for the first 6 months of the year was $536 million. For the first 6 months of last year, they saw a loss of $682 million. That's pretty good. Costas Marantis, the CEO of the company, also made an observation about premium rates. He said that in cat-exposed lines, it seems that the rate of increases have now decelerated, and sustainability of current rates and trends in catastrophe pricing is going to be dependent upon loss activity. So according to him, the big blow from 2011 has exhausted itself, and we're now running currently on projected experience for this year. A United Nations team, we had to read this twice, is actually today going to show up in North Korea, of all places. This is after 2 days of heavy rain submerged many buildings in that country, cutting off power, flooding rice paddies, and forcing people and their livestock to climb up to rooftops for safety. Some 60,000 people are homeless. Well, this is an interesting story coming from Iran. You may wonder sometimes how American and Western bankers feel about sanctions or penalties when they commit fraud. Some of them do go to jail periodically, but most of them are just fined or they lose their jobs. While an Iranian court has sentenced 4 people to death for $1 billion bank fraud that has tainted the government of President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. Iranians were shocked by the scale of the $2.6 billion bank loan embezzlement that was exposed last year. Of 39 people tried for fraud, 4 were sentenced to hang, according to the Iranian news agency yesterday. 2 people were sentenced to life, others received jail sentences, and some were sentenced to flogging. Well, sometimes they get things right over there. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.